Hi everyone. Hope you're having a good day at home. I would like you to please get your notebooks out and be ready to take notes 9. These are called graphing compound inequalities. I mentioned graphing inequalities last week. We practiced graphing single inequalities. We remembered that if it was less than or greater than, it was an open circle. If it was less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, we use a closed circle, and then we shade solutions. We shade solutions, which means we shade numbers that make the inequality true. Well, today we're going to work on graphing something called a compound inequality. A compound inequality are two inequalities that are joined by the word and or by the word or. So you should know what a compound word is. A compound word is two words pushed together. A compound inequality is two inequalities and then they are connected by the word and or or. So an example would be x is greater than -4 and x is less than 5. This is one example of a compound inequality. It's two inequalities with the word and or between it. Remember, as we're going through these notes, if you're expected to write all of these down. If I'm going too quickly, then you're going to press pause so that you can catch up, but I'm going to keep on going. There are two kinds of compound inequalities. The first is called a conjunction. Conjunctions are joined by the word and. So whenever you see the word and, we know that this is a conjunction. This example that I made before is a conjunction because it's connected with the word and. This is something you have to memorize. Conjunctions are and. And then we can graph it. When we're graphing these, we have to be a little bit careful. We're going to follow the directions we normally do. So when it says x is greater than or equal to 3, we're going to go to 3 on the number line. What do you think? Is this an open or closed circle? This is a closed circle because it's underlined. So at 3, we're going to draw a closed circle. And then this says x is bigger than 3. So I know that that's going to be numbers like 4, 5, 6. So we're going to start shading, but we're not going to shade all the way. We just started a little bit. Then let's go to the other inequality. X is less than or equal to 8. So we're going to go to 8. It's underlined, which means it's a closed circle. And this says x is less than 8. So that's numbers like 7 and 6. So I'm going to start shading that. Now we can connect, now we fill in the middle because this one was shading that direction. This one was shading this direction. And so my answer is just the part of the number line that's between 3 and 8. Because the numbers that are bigger, this says bigger than 3 and smaller than 8. Numbers that are bigger than 3 and smaller than 8 are the numbers like 4 is bigger than 3 and smaller than 8. 5 is bigger than 3 and smaller than 8. 6, 7, and those are all the numbers. If you look, those are the numbers that we shaded. Any number bigger than 3 and less than 8. So conjunctions are between. We're going to notice a pattern. Conjunctions, always we shade between. Conjunctions are tricky. You can also rewrite conjunctions all smushed together. So I want you to see this. If we have x is greater than or equal to 3 and x is less than or equal to 8, what we can do is we can take this inequality and we're going to flip it around. Instead of writing the x first, we can flip it around and switch the place with the x and the 3. And when we do that, we have to switch the inequality. And then the second one is x is less. So we switch this one, and then the second one we're going to say the same. You see how I have two x's in the middle? I can instead, this is a shorthand way of writing it. I can write it with less steps. I'm going to put them together. Instead of having two x's, I can just write it like this. 3 is greater or less than or equal to x, and that's less than or equal to 8. So this is another way of writing a conjunction, only when it's connected with the word and, because I can rewrite this first one and then my two x's are next to each other. And instead of writing 2, I can just write 1. I smushed it all together. We're going to be practicing solving these a lot at the end of the week. So these are conjunctions. Conjunctions are the word and we're shading towards each other.